Shalom Akim, Yahweh, Bashim, Yahushai, Bashim, Rakwakadash, the bonus and salutations to the elders and apostles of Real Millstone. Well, it's a bit of Nasha TC camp with another short lesson. So you can see, man, the whole situation between the United States and Iran is not going nowhere. So that discord, man, the Mosai has made a stick. It's gonna get worse and worse and worse. And you could see in the background the two so-called representatives, from Iran and Japan. And boils down to what the Lord Yahweh Shimei Shai has already set in foundation, before before man was set upon the face of the earth. So there is nothing new, man, that these folks can do to change the prophecies, man. So it's all the Lord's doing. There is no diplomatic solution, man, to prevent World War III. That's going to be the title of this video. So all these traveling back and forth, making deals, is not going to stop the will of the Lord from being fulfilled. So it's that simple. Or I'll play the video and I'll just get some precepts.
Well, Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe's efforts to soothe the increasingly tense relationship between Iran and the U.S. have failed. Iran's supreme leader declined on Thursday to respond to U.S. President Donald Trump's message that Abe brought with him.
So here and there says his efforts failed. So, it's of the Lord that, he fails because the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai is about to conclude the rulership of the heathen, and bring in the rulership of the Lord Yahweh Shai, by Shemukwa Kadash, and deliver his people, the Israelites, spread throughout the four corners of the earth, So this is what you're going to have to deal with, man. Failure, 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 of these so-called world leaders to prevent World War III from happening, and then you have issues of, unemployment, you have issues of the economy just going under, and then the people in uproar. There's protests all over the whole world.
To Tehran. For more on this and other news around the world, we go over to our Hongyu at the Arirang Center. So you give us the details of this meeting between the two.
Well, the meeting between Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe and Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei was aimed at making peace between the U.S. and Iran, but was overshadowed by Thursday's attack on two tankers in the Gulf of Oman. The attacks near the entrance to the Persian Gulf were reported early Thursday, and U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo wasted little time saying Iran was responsible.
And then you read the book of Revelation, talks about the red horse, and its rider, that it would take peace from the earth. So that's the time we're living in, man. We're living in a time of destruction, a time of heightened alerts. Folks are just on the brink of losing their minds because Esau's rulership is all about destruction, discomfort, treachery and violence.
These attacks come amid escalating tension between the U.S. and Iran due to tighter U.S. sanctions over renegotiating a nuclear deal. The U.S. and Iran signed a 2015 nuclear accord after having negotiated the matter for 5 to 6 years, a deal which was swiftly abandoned by President Trump, who claimed it was a horrible one-sided deal. Abe had discussed Iran with Trump in Tokyo last month and had brought a message from the U.S. leader, a message Khamenei said was not worthy of a reply. He said President Trump was not ready for honest negotiation.
Yeah, because his hands are tied, man. Trump cannot make any decisions. He's jacked up. His daughter's married to the Amalekites. They're all in the same boat. His investments is tied to the Amalekites. His whole life is tied to the Amalekites. His whole soul. The fate of America is tied to the Amalekites. Europe, in fact, the whole world, man, because the Amalekites, of the nation of Edom, so-called Jews, they're in, serious positions of authority, to make things happen. But, hey, they're not really in control, but they mostly just put them there to make them think they have a huge influence. But that's just, the Most High pulling the strings, man. They want war, and they're gonna get it. So that's how the Lord Yabashima Shai set it up. So these presidents that want to do their own thing and say, we're gonna have a negotiation. These negotiations are gonna turn upside down. They're gonna be trashed and thrown in the bin. So all those signed paperwork and all that stuff, agreements here and there, doesn't pan out because we're heading into World War III, man. According to the prophecies of the Lord Yabashima Shai. All right. So I'll just get a couple of precepts. All right. So this is gonna be from the book of Job. Job chapter 34. All right, verse 33. And it says, should it be according to thy mind, he will recompense it, whether thou refuse or whether thou choose, and not I, therefore speak what thou knowest. So all these negotiations, that the so-called China, Japanese prime minister is trying to embark on, it's not going to yield any, productive fruits, man. It's not going to be profitable because the rulership of the heathen is almost up. What they have to do is look forward to war, chaos, and destruction, and backlash from the people, and ultimately, servitude. The scripture talks about them being shackled up and going to captivity, to clean up the mess that they've made, and then to serve the Israelites that the Lord Yahweh shall deliver from the pestilence and destruction coming upon the face of the earth. So it's all, smoke screen, man. Esau thinks he has the true power, but he doesn't. Esau is just a figurehead of the Lord Yahweh Shai. It's just a creation, of the Lord Yahweh Shai. He has no true power. So all he's doing is just following the instructions of the Lord. So when Esau thinks he wants to do his own thing, the Messiah puts him in check.
One of our problems will be solved negotiating with America. Americans have been as hostile as they could towards us, and they continue to do so. No free nation will accept negotiations under pressure.
It was seen as crucial for Abe to ease tensions between the two countries as Japan imported most of its oil from Iran until last month, when Washington said countries importing Iranian oil could face sanctions. Khamenei said Japan should show a firm stance if it wants to expand its ties with Iran.
Well, they can't. They got money tied up here in Babylon, man. They got investments tied up to America. They got investment tied into Europe. So what are they gonna do? So they all they're jacked up, man. That's what happens, when you go along to get along. So the Mosai set a trap for these Ammonites, man, to go along with America. Now they don't have a way out of it. The only way out is for them to go down with Babylon as a whole, man. It's a suicide mission, that they did when they got into bed with America. So that's all it is, man. They don't have any life without America, man. So it's part of prophecy, man. And Japan don't really have any defense, offense, nothing, man, because they're still under the protection of United States. So that's all. It's all dog and pony show. Until the Lord Yahweh Shai shows up and puts everything back in order. All right. So I get another precept here. This is from the book of Revelation, chapter 4, verse 11. All right. So this is what the 24 elders, were chanting unto the Lord Yahweh Shai Bashim Hakadash, and it says, Thou art worthy, O Lord, to receive glory and honor and power, for thou hast created all things, and for thy pleasure they are and were created. And that's the point right there, man. This is the Most High script, and there's no deviation from it, man. The good guys and the bad guys have already been chosen. It's gonna be hard for someone to play the neutral role. So that's how the Lord Yabashima Shai set it out. There is no gray zone. It's either in the white or in the black. And then they're gonna clash, man. So hey, it's a beautiful thing. Then I get another precept here. This is from the book of Second Corinthians chapter 8. And then this is verse 11. Let's see. All right, Second Corinthians chapter 8. You know what? We'll go to verse 12. The point is in verse 12. So it says, "For if there be first a willing mind, it is accepted to that a man had." Okay, it's accepted according to that a man had. All right, so it says, I read it again, 2 Corinthians chapter 8, verse 12. "For if there be first a willing mind, it is accepted according to that a man had." So this is the mindset of men, upon the face of the earth. They say, "Oh man, because I have this clout, I have this so-called political capital, I have these resources, I got these connections, so therefore I have the authority to speak on it. I've got the leeway to speak on it." But that's not the way it is with the Lord Yabashima Shai. All right. And then it says, "And not according to that which he had not." So that's that wrong contrary, man, to the Lord Yabashima Shai. So all these plans of these so-called world leaders and politicians, it's all vapors, man. Just hot air, hot gas. They say one thing and then it doesn't happen. It's because the Lord doesn't allow it to happen. So there's nothing they can do to change that. Because they're all puppets on the string. All right. So that's just one point, man. Because World War III is gonna happen. Whether the people, the different citizens of the different nations like it or not.
Well, Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe's efforts to soothe the increased.
I'll fast
Well,
forward.
the meeting between Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe and Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei was aimed at making peace between the U.S. and Iran, but was overshadowed by Thursday's attack on two tankers in the Gulf of Oman. The attacks near the entrance to the Persian Gulf were reported early Thursday, and U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo wasted little time saying Iran was responsible.
And that's one thing folks have to deal with, man. Because all these attacks, man, they do have a certain impact on social conditions. Even the stock market. Is to say the price of crude oil went up. Hey, that's a nice way to make money, man. The price of oil goes up, people make money. Then it comes back down, people make money. So that's all it is, man. When there's chaos, there's always, a fortune to be made. So that's how it is in Esau's world, man. Chaos up, chaos down. So that's how it is, man. But for the elites, man, they want chaos. They want to be able to sell weapons. They want to be able to have puppets in different governments to enact their policies. You know, so the so-called congressmen you see here in the United States, all those so-called parliament members in England, whatever they are, man, even in France, even in Belgium, the EU, whatever, they're all controlled, man. They all have to answer to their corporate masters, their corporate overlords. So it's messed up, man. You could watch all the different TV shows to give you an idea of how the things work, but you got to dig in a little bit deeper to see how things happen. So the elites, man, these rich men that rule the world, man, they have to do certain things to make sure that their stake, in having power it's not diminished or relinquished. So that's beautiful, man, to see these things happen.
These attacks come amid escalating tension between the U.S. and Iran due to tighter U.S. sanctions over renegotiating a nuclear deal. The U.S. and Iran signed a 2015 nuclear accord after having negotiated the matter for 5 to 6 years, a deal which was swiftly abandoned by President Trump, who claimed it was a horrible one-sided deal. Abe had discussed Iran with Trump in Tokyo last month and had brought a message from the U.S. leader, a message Khamenei said was not worthy of a reply. He said President Trump was not ready for honest negotiation.
None of our problems will be solved negotiating with America. Americans have been as hostile as they could towards us, and they continue to do so. No free nation will accept negotiations under pressure.
And that's the point right there, man. So I just read a few more precepts. If you read Ezekiel chapter 21, it talks about the sword. I just read a quick bit out of that. So this is Ezekiel chapter 21, verse 8. So it says, again, the word of the Lord Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, prophesy and say, Thus said the Lord Yahweh, say, a sword is sharpened and also furbished. It is sharpened to make a sore slaughter. It is furbished that it may glitter. Should we then make mirth? It contaminate the rod of my son as every tree. So the point is this, man. All these agreements, all these, signing of deals and trade deals and all that stuff will come to an end, man, because we're going into an era of mass chaos, of mass tension. The war between Saudi Arabia and Yemen is jacked up. And then you have the Syria situation is not going anywhere. So it's all gonna be pockets and pockets and pockets of violence. Pockets of tension, which is gonna boil over. All right, and then you look at Isaiah chapter 14. Isaiah chapter 14, verse 26. All right. So this is what it says. This is the purpose that is purposed upon the whole earth, and this is the hand that is stretched out upon all the nations. So the will of the Lord is gonna, override whatever these nations think they want to do. All right. So the Lord's hand is gonna be heavy upon the heathen in these last days, man, to make sure World War III happens. All right. For the Lord of hosts had purposed, and who shall annul it? All right, and his hand is stretched out, and who shall turn it back? All right, so the chaos and the violence is gonna keep on escalating. The insults and all the betrayal. It's gonna keep on building up, and then World War III will just happen. Amalek is gonna do something crazy, and then it's gonna draw in America. We're gonna draw in the EU nations and the Arab nations and Russia, China, Japan. So it's gonna be chaotic, man. And then I get a final precept here. This is from the book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 12. All right. So it says, "Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat." All right. So that's where the whole situation is taking place, man. Those oil tankers, being on fire. Hey, it's just a sign of things to come. And you're gonna see more destruction. And on YouTube you see all those videos of video games playing. Battlefield 3, has been one of the videos I've been watching, man. It shows the invasion of Iran. Different campaigns and all that stuff. I don't really like playing video games, but I just watch them for the fun of it. All right, I do have video games, but I don't play them anymore. All right. So this is Joel chapter 3, verse 12. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. All right, so this is exactly what the Lord Yahweh Shimashah has in store, man. It's gonna be so messed up, So if you read verse 13, it says, "Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get you down, for the press is full, and the vats overflow, for their wickedness is great." So all the plans that these heathens have, man, the Lord Yahweh Shimashah is gonna overthrow it. All this arm twisting and blackmailing and that diplomatic so-called solutions and all these sanctions, all that stuff is out the window, all right? Because the Lord Yahweh has had enough of it, so that time is coming to an end, So that's the point there, Hakim, So I'll play the video some more, and that's the wrap.
It was seen as crucial for Abe to ease tensions between the two countries, as Japan imported most of its oil from Iran until last month, when Washington said countries importing Iranian oil could face sanctions. Khamenei said Japan should show a firm stance if it wants to expand its ties with Iran.
Well, Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo.
And there's a point right there, So just like back in the ancient world, man, it's just interesting, man, to see how prophecy plays out, So I just say, Kahala, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Kwakadash, double honors and salutations to the elders and apostles of great mystery, Wwiii and the Akim, striving in the name of Yahweh, Shai, for sincerity and truth, So just keep your eyes open, man, all these chaos and tensions is not going anywhere, they're here to stay until the Lord Yahweh Shai takes it off. All right, so shalom.